Hi everyone, this is Ended of Time. We're back again with The Walking Dead.
Everyone you love around you's dying!
Now today I'm just gonna go through the 400 Days DLC and I am going to just look through what the links are between the characters in the story. So we're gonna go through it piece by piece as I went through the story and just point out any links that I've managed to find. Now I avoided diving in on the internet to find anything. I wanted to make it authentic, so I found a few things, but I probably didn't find all of them. So let's get to it. Okay, now we start with Vince. Vince was 2 days in, and I couldn't really find anything with Vince. I tried to see if there's any link with the characters, any overlap, but I couldn't really find anything. I did, unfortunately. I fell for it. I went looking and I saw apparently Justin is visible if you play as Russell later. Although I didn't see him. I looked through the footage. I didn't see Justin. Apparently it's if you don't get in the truck with Nate. So that's the only thing I could locate. But beyond that, I could locate absolutely nothing, which makes a lot of sense because Vince is 2 days in. So if nothing comes from it, there's nothing that he follows on. It's at the very start. I don't know what happened. That's one interesting thing, is we don't know what happened to Wyatt's friend, what happened to Vince's friend, or what happened to Leland with Bonnie. So, or Nate with Russell, although he left him, but Leland we don't know. So bit of interesting stuff going on there. But yeah, that's it for Vince. I don't have anything else. Quick aside, I actually circled the characters from Vernon's group, almost forgot, from season 1. Okay, now on to Shell. Shell is 236 to 259 days in. Now Shell is, actually when I look at the dates here, Shell's the last one. So I skipped ahead when I did it in that order, but I didn't know. Now Shell has a lot of stuff that comes together, and it makes sense now that I look at the date because it's the last one. There is the stain on the floor, which we see in Russell's adventure, comes from the fight he had with the elderly couple in the gas station. Now the catch-up, I still don't find the link. I love the catch-up, but I'm still not finding the link to it. It's just there. I just seem to like it a lot. I have no idea. Now, there's also the question of the missing flashlight. I'll follow up on that. Let me just quickly see the footage. Bonnie's story is only 2 weeks before we get to Shell's story, so Dee took something, and if you put the pieces together, it's clearly from Roman's group. Roman and Stephanie, they did refer to Steph. Steph lost a flashlight. Now I don't know if the flashlight was taken by Dee or if it was lost in the field, but there's clearly an overlap to the missing flashlight and the incident with Bonnie. Now, interestingly enough, Shell also asks about the guns, and they say we haven't had to use them for a while, which 2 weeks, well, 2 weeks and 2 days, so they could be referring to when they shot Bonnie. It's actually quite interesting when you think about it. One of Shell's group could have shot Bonnie, and they basically don't know about it, unless they've talked about it and be like, hey, you were there at the cornfield. But I don't think they've been, because they're pretty chill. Now, we still haven't established if the flashlights are indeed mag lights, because I'm just going to have to reiterate, I love mag light flashlights. I'm not in any way sponsored to say it, I just really love the brand. It's the good stuff. Now, the two zombies in the back of the gas station. One is definitely the old lady from the elderly couple that Nate took out. The interesting thing is she's zombified, and if I recall correctly, she was wounded. So Nate took out the old man in the head, I have to guess, just based on the result of what happened. So that's what I guess from there. But here's one thing, and I'm going to say it because the other zombie is wearing a prison guard uniform, and he's definitely not the corrupt prison guard. So I think he might be the prison guard that was driving the truck. Possibly. He's wearing a prison guard uniform. So that is a possibility. I'm not too sure, but it does look to be the case. But as far as I can see, those are all the ways that Shell's story links up. So there's a pretty big amount of them, and it's at the end of the game, supposedly. I just had the order wrong, so that makes perfect sense. But yeah, let's get on to Wyatt. With Wyatt we have a few links The truck chasing after Wyatt and his friend Wyatt and Eddie, apologies, was definitely Nate. Definitely. You can actually see in Russell's episode that it's still got the left headlight shot out or broken, which was shot out by Wyatt I think Wyatt did the shooting. So that's definitely Nate, as well as the fighting scene later on. Wyatt fights Nate and he crashes his hand, makes it cut on the broken shards of his window, which we do see in Russell's adventure. He still, even though it's 5 months later, he still has the cut on his hand. Probably just healed up badly. But yeah, so that's definitely Nate. Definitely, there's no doubt about that. But the interesting thing is the person that they hit with the car, this is 41 days in. You have to really pause, pause, play through the footage that I did. But the person is definitely alive when they hit him. He's not a walker. You could see in his eyes he's still alive, so they definitely hit a still cognizant person. And although I couldn't see the pants because I'm really looking for those black pants with a white stripe to confirm if it's the prison guard, the shirt does appear to match. So it might be the prison guard from the truck that basically Wyatt and Eddie hit, and at some point they chained him up at the gas station. It looks to be the case. Once again, it's merely speculation. But those appear to be all the links for Wyatt that I can see. So on to Bonnie. Bonnie happens at 220 days in. I gotta say, Bonnie links up heavily with Shell's group. Very heavily. Roman, as we know from Shell's episode, gets increasingly paranoid about stealing, and Dee could very likely have contributed to this, if not caused this. She could have stolen something from them that caused Roman's paranoia, or at least built up to it heavily, so that's possible. I definitely see what appears to be the silhouette of Steph and Roman in the fields, as well as he calls her Steph, so it's definitely part of Shell's group. The corrupt guard appears to be the zombie that I kick in the road after slipping down the hill. So there's that. And I actually comment on a chain lying in the road. And you see the prison bus. The chain is very likely from Vince and I think Danny's friend. So it's finally a link to Vince. Got the corrupt guard. Didn't see Justin there. But yeah, those are all the links that I could see. Now, we still don't know what Dee took. Dee could very likely have taken a flashlight, or Steph could have lost her flashlight in the fields. We just don't know. I couldn't see anything to prove either way. Couldn't see anything about the rebar, or the tractor, or some of the vehicles, but that might also be a few links there. So yeah, we got a few links with the corrupt guard, and mainly with Roman and Stephanie. He could also have been the one that took the shot, that shot Bonnie. I just don't know. But yeah, so that's everything from Bonnie's group to 20 days in. So they are the closest. The days between Shell and Bonnie are the closest of any of all these episodes. So yeah, let's get on to Russell. Russell at 184 days, so that's about a month before Bonnie. Now, Russell confirms Nate, basically. We can see Nate's truck, it's got a light missing. You can see Nate's hands are cut. I couldn't notice or recognize any of the zombies in the road, so I don't know what happens if you ignore Nate's truck. I honestly have no idea what journey that would cause if you ignore Nate's truck, if you have to walk to the gas station or what, but yeah. So I didn't recognize any of them. The elderly couple we can see is definitely the old lady that became a zombie from her wounds. But here's an interesting thing. Nate fires at least 2 shots, if not more. So who'd he shoot? Because the old lady's still there. Or maybe he shot her somewhere else. I have no idea, but there's clearly... What did he shoot with the multiple shots? That's a bit confusing to me. And there is one prison guard already at the gas station, which appears to be the corrupt guard. Now, that's 184 days, so that is a month before Bonnie kicks him in the face. I don't know if Bonnie killed him, but... Oh, well, killed him again, but he's there. I can clearly see him there when Russell leaves the store. So, the guards haven't really left their spots in about 8 months, 6 to 8 months basically. They've all been hanging around there, and we can establish that the prison bus is quite close to the gas station as well, because prison guard, gas station bus, it's tying together too much. I can't remember if we can actually see the cornfields as Shell. That would make a lot of sense. But the fact that Shell and Roman are within distance of that, you know, they're actually close enough to have to inspect it as part of their property, or as part of what they consider to be their property, I would assume that the cornfields are quite close to the gas station. Which means that the prison truck's quite close to the gas station, which makes sense as to why it all ties in there. So that is everything that I can gather about the story and how it interlinks. Now, the one interesting thing is there's as much time that takes place between, let's say, Vince and Russell's story, or Wyatt and Shell's story, as Shell's story, which is the last one, and the very end of the episode. So a lot of time goes by. As I said, Roman abandoned the place, which makes sense because when Russell got there, the base wasn't there. When Bonnie got there a month later, the base was there. So 6 months even after that, it makes sense that the base would have come and gone. Nothing's permanent in you know, the Walking Dead wasteland. So yeah, that appears to have been the case. I'll quickly look into what could have happened at the very end, but that appears to be it for the how should I say, the links between. So let's see what the end brings. Now in day 400, we can see a map that clearly shows the location of the gas station, the cornfield, the water tower, which is quite important because the cornfield, that ties in Bonnie's story, the gas station, that ties in basically Shell's story, Russell's story, not Wyatt. I don't recall seeing that, but we did drive past the gas station with Wyatt, so close enough. And because we've seen the prison truck or prison bus in other episodes with Vince, for example, and Bonnie, we know that it was close because the water tower and the cornfield were close. And you can actually see the water tower in the background during the end conversation, so you know that the final camp is also quite close. Now, I didn't recognize any of the walkers at the fuel station at the time, but there was a lot of panning to them, so I'm pretty sure some of them had to be in the previous episodes, but I didn't recognize any of them. Now, the camp, it looks like Wyatt's car is there, although it might be just a similar shape because it looked like it had the windows intact, which shouldn't be the case, but it looked like Wyatt's car, but not like the RV. It looked more like a caravan on the other side, so I don't know what happened to Shell's RV. The truck, there's actually a pickup truck that I don't know if it could be Nate's truck. I honestly don't know. It's an interesting one. Now, the three missing companions that I know of, Danny, Leland, and Eddie. Wyatt is still looking for Eddie. Leland, I don't know what happened to him. I couldn't get enough out of Bonnie there to really understand. I just assume he left, disgusted at finding out about Dee. Or Bonnie told him, I'm not sure. But one interesting piece is about Danny, because Russell says he's happy Shell never met Danny, which means Danny was alive up to about 200 days. About at least 184, because that's Russell. At some point between 184 and 259 when Shell left, at some point between that gap, Russell met up with Vince and Danny, and they jammed, man, but Russell clearly didn't like Danny, and Danny got himself killed somehow. And at some point, who knows when, Shell joined up and everybody started joining up and made the big camp. So that's everything I could gather from it. I hope I gathered most of it. I'm not sure. I probably missed a lot of details, and there's definitely details I missed based on alternate choices. So thank you very much, everybody. That's my deep dive, sort of, on the 400 Days DLC. We are going to be going on to Season 2. Hooray! In the next episode. So I want to say thank you very much. Hope this was awesome. Can't wait for Season 2. Hope you have a very good day. This has been Edo to Tide. Bye-bye.